The Supreme Court will review the constitutionality of New York's newest gun laws. Earlier this month, the state began requiring background checks on ammunition purchases with a $2.50 fee on the buyer. Gun purchase background checks now carry a $9 fee, and state police have now taken over those checks. Until now, the FBI conducted them free of charge. Now comes word that Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas has granted the request for an emergency conference by the court to review the changes. Governor Kathy Hochul reacts.
But in the meantime, everyone should know that the current law remains in effect. But we are ready for any other efforts to thwart our efforts, states' responsibilities to protect our citizens.
Republicans are applauding the decision for Supreme Court review. Among them, North Country Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. Her statement says, in part, Governor Hochul's state-run background check system and tax on constitutional rights are causing serious delays and false denials.